I feel like I got a voice for the mic.
Yeah, me too. That's why as long as it's in the right place, it's gonna hear me. But we turned up, re-recording. Okay, so hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of In Our Lane podcast. I am your host Emmeisha, and today I have a special guest for you guys.
Yeah.
This is Rayvon. Rayvon is my cousin, my blood cousin, and play.
No play.
So tell the people about you, a little bit about who you are and everything.
Our mothers, of course, are sisters, the dearest of sisters. So, we grew. Actually, we really more so like brother and sister more than anything, yes. Honestly. And
this
that's
is
just
like
because
the big brother that I always wanted. So.
Yeah, we always used to always be around over each other's houses and stuff like that. And so, keeping that relationship and keeping it in the family is definitely very important to me. But I'm a twin. For all, of course, who don't know, whoever watch your podcast, I am a twin. She's not here, but she's taking care of my niece and nephew. But I think the biggest thing that learned over years, and I want to congratulate you, Mish. I know, you've been doing stuff like this since you was a kid.
You better let them know.
Literally, no, for real. Like when we would just be around the house playing, spending on each other's house, or we would be back at West Street, the house back on West Street. We'll literally just be walking around. Misha will always be acting like she a model or talking on a microphone or stuff like that. So we always knew that Misha was going to have some type of entertainment or spring to her. But a lot of people don't know. I'm guessing, pretty sure they do know that Misha's a damn good dancer. So in regards to the band. The band dancers, I think you was the only freshman on your dance team in high school?
No, it was two of us.
It was two of y'all. Okay. But still, that's still,
yeah.
You know what I mean? They just shows a lot about, what you do. But right now.
I was one of the ones that got to actually do halftime, but we're going to leave it alone. But it's okay.
But no, I was, playing sports in high school with the school for sports. We actually went to the same school, West Georgia, for a minute. So I made sure made sure that she was good when I was there. Me being in a frat, to the good bros. Made sure she was all welcome on. Make sure she was always good. She transferred to Georgia State, but I had a sports background. Coaching. Working at the University of West Georgia Coliseum, doing event management and stuff like that. But then COVID hit, so you gotta roll your sleeves up and do something that you're comfortable doing before, making a decision and making that next step in your life, So I had to go to corporate America. I had a good job at LA Fitness. They weren't paying enough. So I was like, hey, look, I got a master's degree. I need to get something for it. So, I'm corporate America right now. Got laid off my first job, but, at the end of the day, things happen.
Right.
And that's what kind of gave me a wake-up call about corporate America. You can literally do nothing wrong. And
exactly.
Literally.
Still let you go.
And they'll just be like, oh, okay, we can't afford you, or these numbers don't make sense, so we got to let somebody go, you know what I mean? So, I'm not going to bring race into it or anything like that because I don't think it's that deep, but I do think in corporate America, they do things in an unintentional way.
Right.
And they may not notice it.
Right.
So, you just got to take it with it and run with it. So, that's what I've been doing in my current job right now, just, being successful as I am as an IT recruiter and, just kind of go from there. But, building a brand, Southside Boom, coming next spring. So,
period.
Got the personal training in baseball going right now. Charity softball game coming up in the spring. Pretty much the first to ever do it, just trying to get back to the community. That's all, and trying to show where we from. That's all.
Period. And that's what we on. So let's get into this icebreaker.
Okay.
So I am a breakfast type of person. And when I say I like breakfast, I mean I like breakfast food. And so me and Shanti was talking, and she was like, I'm weird because for breakfast, I only like to eat breakfast food. Like for breakfast, I think bacon, eggs, and waffles and pancakes. But for breakfast for her, she could just eat the leftovers from last night for breakfast, and that's her breakfast. And that's weird to me.
Yeah, that's weird. I think
so. It's not me.
No,
I'm not the
you.
weird one. Okay.
My girl, Bree do that. My girl do that. So she'll sometimes she'll want breakfast food, but I got to have breakfast food. I got to have that in the morning. But she can just warm up her leftovers, and then she'll be fine.
Okay, so now I know I'm not crazy. It's not just me. And I love breakfast food. Like I can't wake up in the morning and just eat fried chicken, macaroni, cheese, and collard greens. Like that's not what I think of when I want my first meal of the day.
Now maybe maybe I don't know. Thanksgiving it'd be different because it all depends on if you have like a long night, Thanksgiving night. You know, you got lit a little bit. And you wake up. I understand if you wake up late, but if I feel like
everyday type
I gotta have like fruit or something like that.
I want a smoothie with my waffles and sausage. But anyways, I just wanted to know, make sure I wasn't being weird or anything. But okay. So I had saw this meme you had mentioned earlier. I saw this meme on Instagram and it said that your childhood wasn't lit if you didn't live with your cousins at some point. And I was just like, that is so funny because y'all was coming on the podcast today and I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah. So let's get into the topic of the day, growing up in the church. So we grew up in the church hard. Like when I say maybe 5 days out the week we was at church, whether it was choir rehearsal or we was having some type of event at church or plays or I was on the dance team, like something. We was always at church. So I just wanted to just talk about like how did growing up in the church affect you and like how do you view church now? Because I know my view of church has changed over the years.
I could just say this, being raised by who we raised by, Dooley, she didn't play that. So, I think what we learned, growing up and staying in church is basically ultimately learning how to get a relationship with God. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you can be all praised for God. You can, talk to him at any type of moment of the day and he gonna listen. You know what I mean? I think that instilled in us. Right. Me personally, I just think that, when I went out to college, I didn't have a church home out there in Carrollton. So
it was so hard to find a community out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a community out there, but I just feel like when you went to church as much as we did, it's just like, dang, we ain't gotta be forced to go, but we could still have that talk with God, you know what I mean? So I think we just took it like that. That's why I think that, not necessarily I never lost a relationship with God. I definitely did. I definitely stopped going to church as much. And I think just because I was in Carrollton, I think that sometimes, not saying this, right, you always want to remain in church. That's what was instilled. But you also got to learn how to live, you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes there may be certain situations where, hey, I don't feel comfortable going to a church out there. That's how I felt. I didn't feel like going to a comfortable church out there because I take my relationship with pastors seriously. You're sitting here preaching me and telling me something God in my life. So I need to know what type of person you are. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, but, I think right now I still do, I do my best and try to get back involved, even though, I have the business things on Sundays. I still try to do my best to, go on YouTube on that Monday or go on, just something on, just have some type of motivation to myself, whether it's writing something down or just having a sincere talk with God on a daily.
Right.
But I think it's definitely important. I just think that the new age parents are not forcing it as much as they did back in the day.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, cause they wasn't having it. It was like mandatory. Like,
it was like, you don't have no choice.
Yeah, now these kids be like, oh, like I don't feel like going. They'll leave. They'll leave their kids at home. Like, nah, we had no choice. I'm talking about we in kids' church and all that. We after church and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, like for me, I would say, I guess growing up, I just started to realize like how people really are, and I guess at a younger age, I just looked at everybody like, oh my gosh, these are very good people. They, supposed to be a certain type of way, but then once you get older and you start hearing like the little side conversations and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, so y'all really don't be acting how y'all be trying to portray that y'all are, and that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then like the whole thing about how you said like the pastor, like I don't like when pastors be acting like they one way, but then in their real life they are another. Like that type of situation, like I can't rock with stuff like that. So that's kind of what pushed me away. And then it's like for so long, it was like you said, mandatory. So I feel like once I got of age to where I decided like I really don't have to go to church as long as I just remain with my relationship with God. Exactly. So that's what I've been focused on, just making sure that my relationship with God is good and, if I do later down in the line find a church home or something like that, that's good. But I'm not really forcing myself to do that.
Right. No, I completely understand where you're coming from. I don't think, nobody should be forced to doing something, at the end of the day. I just think as growing up, every traditional black family is going to make sure their kids is closer to God. That's just black folks in general, back to the slaves days, always having a relationship with the man up high. So I think really just if you still just carve out some time a day, whether it can be an informal talking, you got to be on your knees and praise. Right. Most of the time I do it when I'm driving, like on the way to work. I don't play no music in the morning. I'm gonna have some gospel in the background. I'm just gonna have a conversation with God. Whatever's frustrating me that day or frustrating me that week, I'm gonna make sure I pray to God, hey, whatever this is, cover me in your blood. Make sure whatever decision that I make on this specific topic or specific doing, just make sure it's guidance in your will. Make sure I'm doing it for a reason, doing it for a purpose. So I think that just living your life like that is okay. I feel like, and I do agree to that because, pastors got lives too. Deacons got lives too.
But it's just like, I understand, but it's just like, I feel like once you take that role, it's kind of like, all right, now I know for a fact that I need to be a leader and I need to lead by example, not just be telling people, oh, you do this, but then behind closed doors, I'm doing something else.
Right.
That's just how I feel. So
yeah, I know. I completely understand where you're coming from. At the end of the day, I just feel like it's just so much judgment sometimes too when it come out of traditional church folks, and everybody not gonna live their life peaches and cream. Now we're supposed to, that we can try, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like Jesus and God himself, they know that we make mistakes, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, as long as, you put your front foot forward and making sure whatever lesson that you learned from that moment, I feel like that can be beneficial in life regardless if you go to church or not. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Family. I just really wanted to talk about like the importance of family and the importance of keeping everybody together, because in our family we haven't really experienced too many losses yet. And it's like that is like really scary to me because it's coming.
Right.
And it's like I don't want to think about it, but I just know that eventually we're going to be the adults in the family. And we're going to be the ones, like this year we're hosting Thanksgiving. So it's just like we're starting to transition and being basically the leaders of the family, basically. Right. And so I guess I just want to just talk more about like the importance of family.
I think the biggest thing is definitely your elders, right? Granny, I talk to Granny all the time. Yeah. Getting that wisdom and just getting that sense of peace when women that, been around that long, she's 85, God bless her soul, you know what I mean? And she's still being able to breathe. She's still able to talk, you know what I mean? She's still able to interpret things. You know what I mean? It's just a blessing that somebody is still here who's led that long and seen a lot on this earth. Right. And she's seen a lot. I told her, we were talking the other night, like, she's seen a lot of people wilt her away, like a lot of people. And, I feel like that's a strong woman right there. So she can really tell you certain things about life, and it could be the smallest thing, but you got to take that. So I think it's just important because that's the glue. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The matriarch of your family is usually the glue. So it's usually the grandma or the great grandma of the family. And, I feel like you can't take moments like that for granted because, we only here for a certain amount of time, 85 don't seem long, but it's long to us, you know what I mean? And to Granny, she say all the time, like the years just fly. Like, she said after like 50,
I'm telling you, like,
the years just fly.
It's just like, she know how far, how it goes. But I'm just saying, like, I could tell now, like, even now, I'm just like, hold on, wait a minute. It's going to be December already.
Right. It's time. Only thing, like I tell, and I tell the kids I coach all the time. I tell my sister this. We talk all the time. I tell Caleb all the time. And Caleb was one of our cousins, by the way. Only thing is promised is death. Yeah. That's the only thing that's promised. So, I feel like you got to love your loved ones right now. I think just right now, to speak to our family, all of us was growing up, you know what I mean? We in our 20s. So, you know, it was kind of different because our parents ain't had to worry about us anymore. They knew we was at college doing our own thing. So I think that was also a driving force for them. And so once my mother got married, you know, and in-laws come into play, you know, I feel like that also takes into play too.
That was a weird transition because it's just like going from our mothers. I think that was the next topic actually. Yeah. So our mothers, we grew up in single parent households. We did. So growing up with a single mom and both of us experienced well, for you, I know your dad.
Yeah, my background a little different. Yeah.
And my dad was in and out. So it's just like we can relate on that aspect of like growing up in a household with single moms, and like for a minute, like we just was in a family full of women. So it's just like having men come into the family and everything. It was just a hard transition for me. And I was just like, like me and my mom and my sister was just talking about it because we were just saying how like for a minute, like I looked at my stepdad like, you just some nigga that my mama messing with. Like, who are you? Like, just because you married her don't mean nothing. Right. Like that's just how I felt.
Yeah, no, understandable.
Like, now as an adult, it's just like I have a better relationship with him and I have a better understanding of what it is to be married and having a family, and I'm just thankful that he is such a good husband to my mama because she deserves it. And now they have my little brother, and now my brother is able to grow up in a 2-parent household.
Exactly.
And I'm happy for that because I didn't experience that. And I be telling him all the time, like, you don't understand how good you got it, because when it was just me and my mama. And then it was me and Shanti and my mama.
Right.
So it's just like, he just don't get it right now, but he'll understand.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, and that's what these kids don't understand nowadays. I think we, that late 90s babies, we experienced a lot, with my biological father not being in the picture. He tried, but I don't think he did a successful job in regards to trying to reach out to me. I think it was more so of I'm your dad, so you gotta do this, you gotta do this. I don't even know your favorite color. I don't even know your middle name. You know what I mean? So how are you finna sit here and tell me, you know what I mean? And I don't mean to come off in a way like that. I'm not saying that I didn't have any male figures at all. Uncle Bosh, a big male figure of mine, taught me how to drive. We was driving since we 14, 12, 13, 14 years old. You know what I mean? My little brother dad, Troy, I call him my pops. He taught me everything I know, you know what I mean? I met him when I was 11 years old, and I can literally say he was one of the reasons why I was able to face some of the things I faced, because coming from an all-women family and me being one of the oldest males, I think my mom kind of put the expectancy of like, oh, he's gone, but sometimes you can't just assume a kid, no, you know what I'm saying? I got to teach myself, you know what I mean, how to be a man and actually be able to, take care of things, and this whole expectancy of, not showing emotion type thing, had to deal with that and battle with that. And, on top of, our story, we've been through a lot, you know what I mean? So, we struggled, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we had a village though. So. Yeah.
And I don't know. I just feel like people have looked at me and just assumed that I just came from this wealthy family and that I just got everything figured out. And y'all, like I done struggled a little bit too. So it's like my situation, I'm pretty sure my situation ain't the worst situation, but at the same time I still had to go through some type of adversity, and I had to overcome a lot of obstacles in my lifetime, and wasn't nothing handed to me. Like anything that I've done is because I worked for it, not because it was just handed to me.
Right, exactly.
So I just want that to be cleared up, because it just be irritating me when people just be acting like.
At the end of the day, I feel like some people understand. I feel like this is what it is. Like, so when you come from nothing and have a background like your mom, like she said, she had to place a good foundation for you, her family, you and Shanti, and what you all doing now. And but that took hard work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So a lot of people don't understand the environment that we come from. Exactly. The area of Conley and Forest Park. You know what I mean? A lot of it's not a rough area, but it's just like, all right, Conley was a rough area, but Forest Park was one of those areas where it was okay, everybody's calmed down, but it's also just like, not as many resources to be successful. You know what I mean? So but I'm glad things are changing now. But I feel like just the biggest thing in growth in life is just to make sure that whoever you keep around you is going to do nothing but keep you positive. You know what I mean? So, with our mothers, I love my mom to death. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying? So she taught, the biggest thing she taught me was just like, hey, no matter what obstacle you go through, you got to put your head down and continue going through it.
Exactly.
Because that's going to deter you what type of person that you are.
Right.
I literally been times where we were kids and, it was either light bill or eat. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So not to flaunt upon that, you know what I mean? Cause I'm glad we don't have to worry about that situation no more. But, when that's a driving force for me. That's a different driving force for me. So.
All right, y'all. We could just keep going on and on and on, but we're going to keep it moving.
No, I got you.
Places to go, things to do. So me and my sister just came from Tennessee and we did the axe throwing in the rage room. And when I tell y'all, that is so fun.
Okay.
Like, it was hard. Like, those axes, they're not really heavy, but once you throw it a couple times, your arms start hurting. You got to stretch a little bit before you start. I will say, make sure you stretch a little bit before you start because they do put they do a little something to your arm. I don't know. And then the rage room.
It's a little workout. Yeah.
The rage room was so fun, just smashing stuff and stuff like that. So I know they have a place like that here in Atlanta. So just look it up, check it out, and go have some fun. All right. So Emmeisha's playlist. So my song for today is "Feel Sexy" by BB. I just heard that song the other day, and it's giving what it's supposed to give. It's a nice R&B song, and I really, really enjoyed it. While you pull up your song for today.
Oh, I can definitely tell you. Man, I've been on Nas heavy.
Really?
Yeah, I've been on Nas heavy. His Magic album. I don't know if you listened to it or not.
Nope, I'm finna add it right now.
Yeah, the very first song, Speechless, Meet Joe Black. Those first two songs spoke to me. You know what I mean? Like,
look up the lyrics.
Yeah, it's all about motivation with Nas. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't give him his flowers. They should, but a lot of people don't give him his flowers. So, but the usual. Right now the Lil Baby, the Drake, but Nas is speaking to me right now for real.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so next segment, Ask Misha. If you have any questions, you could go ahead and DM me at _in_our_lane. Your questions, you can ask me anything about myself. You can ask me anything about business, about this podcast. Anything you want, just go ahead and send it over to at _in_our_lane. And I had got a question, but all my questions lately is, will you let me take you out? Or like, can I date you or something like that?
No, not on the podcast comments.
And it's just like, even if a dude did do that and I was interested, I might try, but it's just like the dudes that be doing that, just be like, try again, okay?
Yeah, they don't know what type of women you were raised by.
Exactly. Like, look, y'all, my man, he gotta be a special type of man, okay? And some of y'all ain't it, so just cut it out. Like, it just be mind blowing to me. It's just like, I get it, like, I'm pretty, so you gonna shoot your shot, but it's just like, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
A lot of dudes be trying to use this whole money thing nowadays. Like don't know if
like,
care about that.
Like throwing money at you and stuff like that. I don't like that. Like, I feel like it's a transaction.
Right.
Like, if I pay for this, that means at the end of the night, then you better bust it wide open. And it's just like,
exactly. It's an expectancy level, and it's so funny, and because dudes in Atlanta do that all the time, and the reason for it is,
and they'll get mad if you just be like, no.
But some women, I can't say speak for everybody. Some women definitely go for it in Atlanta. Like,
but I'm not one of them. So try again.
Yeah.
Okay, so stay in your lane. I just wanted to say, y'all need to stay focused. I don't know who need to hear this, but you've been distracted, okay?
Okay.
You need to stay focused. You need to keep your goals or whatever it is that you want in your life in the forefront and let all that other stuff stay where it's at, because I know for me, I have moments where I get distracted, whether that's with friends or with whether that's with somebody that I'm dating or something like that. I'll just be so involved in what they got going on, and I forget about myself, and I can't do that no more. Like I have to make sure that right now, I know that in this phase of my life right now, it's about me, and it's about me accomplishing my goals and becoming the woman that I want to be. So it's just like sometimes I got to miss out on some things, and sometimes I can't show up or answer the phone and be sitting there gossiping and being messy. Like, first, I'm not like that anyways, but I'm just saying, like, if that's what you want, I can't get off my phone. Please get off my phone.
This is how I feel. I feel like social media is really what's rotting relationships right now, because a lot of people, a lot of men and even women too, they don't have that advice from somebody. So they're learning from their natural experience, their friends' experience, what they see on social media. So a lot of people are kind of like being copycat or following the leader in regards to handling certain situations.
Let's talk about it.
That's the real. I mean, nobody's perfect, but you can't deter the relationship that you're trying to be in based off somebody else's.
Right.
Like, you're backtracking. You're not going to get anywhere because your expectancy level for that guy or that girl is always going to fail.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I think, I'm learning. I'm 2 years in my relationship now. I'm still learning.
He's so cute.
I'm still learning. At the end of the day, the biggest thing I learned about, baby girl. Shouts out to Bree, by the way, love you. I think with her, she really taught me patience. You know what I mean? She revealed something to me about myself that I didn't know, that I knew I know I need to work on. And when somebody brings that out of you, that's the only thing you can ever ask for out of somebody. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing a lot of people not realizing nowadays. When you find somebody that's genuine and somebody who's willing to put that time into you, don't waste that person's time.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they could be somewhere else doing something with somebody else. You know what I mean? So,
I know. Because it's just like, I'm dating now, and it's just like, I just be so over it. Like, I just don't have, I guess I don't have the patience for dating. Like, it's just like, I be just ready to get to the point. Like, do you like me or not? Like, that's just where I'm at with it. It's
you don't like the what they be saying nowadays, that ain't no more talking stage.
Yeah,
or
ain't
whatever
no more
like
talking stage. Like, do you want to try this or not? Because it's just like, at this point, I'm just over it, because it's a headache. And it's just like, I don't like the guessing game. Like, I don't want to be sitting here like, should I not? Like, can I? Like, what? Like,
I guarantee you this, though.
And then it's like, I don't want to come off thirsty, but it's just like,
I mean, yeah, I get nobody wants to come off thirsty. I'm just being real. I think that's just a prideful thing between men and women. Nobody want to be the person, and I think that's just what it is if you got an opportunity, you got to capitalize off it.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a lot of dudes nowadays is really missing that point. Like, I see a lot of dudes literally skip and pass their blessing just because of a thought process that they just so stubborn to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, she not gonna change me, or oh, he not gonna change me. It's just like, it's too much going back and forth about the same thing. If y'all like each other, let's do it. Like,
let's just do it. It's that simple, y'all. Like, I just feel like we make everything so much harder than it has to be, and it could be all so simple.
Right.
But we're at our end to the conversation.
Okay.
I would love to do a part 2 or whatever, but we could do that another day. So thank you for coming.
No problem, Mish. No problem.
Drop your socials if you want to drop your socials.
You don't
want to drop your socials?
I be laid back. You know what I mean?
So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna share my business name, just Southside Boom Athletics. So that's definitely coming soon. More content, more things that just giving back to the South Side. Trying to create this team, trying to create this brand. So I definitely will shoot those tags over to you once I get everything finalized. So.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in again for In Our Lane podcast. Like I said, I am Emmeisha. That's Emmeisha. You can find me on all platforms as Emmeisha. The podcast is @_In Our Lane, and I will see you guys in the next episode.